Hey guys, welcome back to my space. If you're new here, thank you so much for dropping by. If you're an OG, I see you. As you can already tell from the title, we are going to do another DIY and we're going to create anklets. I'm doing this video because some of you guys requested on how to do anklet after watching the video that I did on myths and misconceptions about waist beads and anklets. Where that video? So guys, we're going to use these few items. We're going to use these twist clasp, or you can call them barrel clasps, or if you want you can use the lobster clasps, which are hooks. Yeah, we are also going to use this string. When it comes to strings, you can choose the string you want. You can use elastic cords, you can use the clear cord like I'm using, which is also called a fishing line, and also you can use cotton thread. Yeah, for waist beads it's very advisable that you use cotton thread because it doesn't katika raka. And yeah, for the anklet, because it's something that I stretch sana, your leg will not adjust or whatever, you can use the clear cord as I'm using. And yeah, so we're just going to add our beads or mix our beads together. If you know me, you know I love colors, but if you're not into colors, you can use solid ones. You can use beads, you can use stone, you can use these beads, they're plastic beads. You can use stone beads, you can use what are they called, the shells. Yeah, they're those beads made from shells. Yeah, you can use whatever kind of bead you want. For me, I decided to use these African beads because one, they're affordable. Two, they look awesome. Yeah, and three, they're very comfortable. You can shower with them, you can sleep with them. There's no much issue with these ones. And like, I feel like the crystal ones, or the plastic, what are they called? Yeah, those two stone beads, I feel like they mess my back when I'm sleeping. But anyway, so after watching the video, after reading the comments, going through the comments on the myths and misconceptions about waist beads and anklet, for me, I told you guys, it's upon you to decide which side you want, because you cannot change people. But it's time to learn and unlearn. Learn and unlearn. So according to me, I told you guys, I do this as fashion statements. So to me, they are fashion statements. So I'm going to mix colors because I love colors, as I said. So yeah, these threads are very these beads, they are bought in threads and they are very affordable. Yeah, so once you've done, you're going to measure your anklet. Ensure you take your anklet measurements plus 1 or 2 inch, no, it's 2 to 3 inch. Yeah, 2 to 3 inches extra, because you're going to tie and choma. You feel me? To tie and choma, like, yeah. So for me, I measured my anklet, which was around 7. I added to 9, but still it ilikuwa kubwa. So yeah, as you will see later, because I'm doing a voiceover. Yeah, so once you've measured your anklet, you'll have the size of thread that you're going to cut. For me, I'm doing a double-sided anklet. I'm doing two anklets, yeah, two in one. Yeah, so I'm going to put 2 threads inside my clasp. Yeah, so these are twist clasp, as you can see. The twist clasp means that they twist like the way you screw the screw and the nut. Yeah, the way you put them together, the same thing happens to these clasps. Yeah, they twist together. But if you're using hooks, you have the small round and the hook one. Yeah, so what you're going to do, you're going to open them so that you have 2, and ensure that when you're doing these, if you have so many of them, you make sure that you have different ends. Yeah, so that you don't do same ends and then they won't secure together. Yeah, so you're going to do this on one end. We're going to insert our clasp like that, as you can see me doing. Once you have inserted, yeah, this is a easy way of, this is going to secure the use of the clasp is to secure your beads, yeah, so that it doesn't run. So for me, I add extra, because once you can find your twist sorry, you can find your twist clasp has a bigger hole and it might go through a knot. Yeah, So what I do, I add 1 to 2 beads, yeah, because these beads are too small, yeah, and they won't interfere. So I add beads and then do the knot. This is to make sure that it doesn't go through the knot or past the knot. So once you've done the knot, you can do 1 or 2 knots, depending with what you want, as you know. So I do the knot, and then I, once the knot is done, you try push the bead and see whether it will go through the bead, which it will never. And also, if the bead will not go through the knot that you have created, that means that the clasp will not also go through the bead, yeah. So that end is secured. You see what I've done there. So I'm going to push the clasp to the end, and you'll note that you see the reason as to why I said you put extra inches is because of this. You see, I'm cutting. Once you've tied knot, you're going to make sure you cut, blah blah blah. So that's why you have to add a few inches, yeah, but to take inches more. So after that, you're going to push your clasp to the end, and the bead will go inside it, yeah. So you don't have to worry at you, bead itaonekana, no, it won't show. It has gone inside and you cannot even tell. Then the other end of the clear cord, you now have one end which has the clasp, and the other end doesn't have. So we're going to put to insert beads inside here. If you're using the cotton thread, there's this what is it called? There's a tool that is used to put beads, to insert beads, the round one that zungukas, and there are also needle, yeah, there's also needles, very tiny needles, straight and tiny needles that go through. But for us, we're going to do manually because why not? So you just hold at the tip, almost at the end of both, because we have said mine is it's two-sided, or it's a double, so you just hold both of them at the same time. It makes works easier. Or if you want to do one by one, well and good, but for me I want to do this. But you must be keen when you're picking the beads, because sometimes one bead can go through the two, and then it will cause some, they won't separate, will make them come together, yeah, be one. So be very keen when you're inserting these beads. So for me, I just did this. I took kidogo, pole pole. Don't worry about colors. It will just zitajipanga. When you're doing that, when you're inserting, zitajipanga. So just do this to the end, pole pole. Don't be in a rush. For me, it took me 45 to 1 hour, I guess, if I'm not wrong. 45 minutes to 1 hour. But if you're fast enough, trust me, this is the most easiest thing to do, because unaziweka tu na zinateremka tu zenyewe. So guys, if you want to do waist beads and you don't want to go like get weird colors, because sometimes you go to buy and then you find weird colors, and you can buy your own beads and do this at home, pole pole, without rush, and mix the colors you want, and so you'll have a final product that is something you like, yeah. And also, this is the same method I use for waist beads, yeah, because as I said, this is an anklet. So sometimes if you want to have so many layered waist beads, and you don't want to do one, you just put them together, tie them at one end, and then just put them together, and then pick your beads, yeah, pick your beads, pole 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 pole. When for most of the waist beads, if you want to have a permanent waist bead, like the one you don't want to be removing it sometimes, or what, you can avoid having the twist clasp, yeah. You can avoid having them and just tie the thread once you're done. See what I was saying? Just see how messy this became. Like, as I was inserting, these 4 beads decided they're going to take one direction. So I'm going to undo all of those, because you see what they did. They made once my nini is separate, my anklets are separate, but at that point they became one, because those beads decided we're taking our own direction and you're not following what you're doing, yeah. So you have to be very keen, and also make sure that you check after every single, like after going for a very short distance, check. usipate umeenda very long distance and then at the end you realize you're going to undo a lot of beads. Yeah, so be very keen. At this point I was tired of doing both because I felt very disappointed. I decided to do one, and also it's because I realized one side was taking lots of beads and the other one, so I'll actually finish one side before the other one. So yeah, I decided to pick one, and then when I felt like this was enough, I decided this is the point where I want. Don't again add a lot of beads and then you don't have a space to secure the other end, because as you all know, for twist clasps you have to have two, so you'll have to secure the other end with the twist clasp, and you don't have to struggle, you don't have to add a lot of beads to a point that you'll struggle doing the tying or doing the securing. Yeah, so at this point, once you've done, your beads are done and you feel like it's enough, you're just going to do the other part of the twist clasp. The twist clasp, where this word is super it's mixed, I don't know, once so this is what you're going to do. And then, as we always say, you've done this, add a bead for extra securing. Yeah, you just add like a small bead. This time I'm going with two, because if you see this twist clasp, one has a wider mouth, if I may use that, so it means that it has a lot of space inside. So I felt like, why not do two to secure it even more? So I did two and then I tied. So if you leave like a small, if you cut like a small clear cord or thread, you'll struggle kufunga this part. You're going to struggle securing this end. But if you leave a very comfortable inches, very few comfortable inches, it will be easier for you. Don't worry, you'll just push the knot and then cut. And then if you don't want to cut with scissors, you can choma, you can just light your lighter and then burn the end. Best thing about burning, when you're burning the end of that thread or cord, it also forms, like, as I said, these are strings. So when you burn strings, they tend to coil, to form some coil up at the end. So it's also another way of securing it. If you don't want to put beads, you can just tie the knot and then burn kidogo so that it locks the threads together. At this point, we are done. This is our anklet, guys. That was the most simplest DIY we have ever done. Look at our anklet. Superb, super cute. The colors are screaming. I said this is the same method you're going to use if you want to create your waist bead. And here comes make a small leg. Mtu asiniambie nina mguu ndogo. I'm doing this for the sake of you. If my leg is ashy, please, shh. Don't tell me. If you don't like my nails, don't comment. Just focus on the anklet. And as you can see, my anklet was too big because, as I said, I added a few more inches. But the best thing about anklets, it's not going to come out. You know, your leg goes like, it's not a straight thing that it will come out. So it's not going to come out. So I'm very comfortable with it being like that. I'm not going to reduce it. If you want to reduce, you just undo. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Till next time. Bye-bye.